Hello, everybody. Chris DeCenso with Camphor and Hill Country Wholesale here. I am the president, and I welcome you to our second webinar for retailers. Today, the topic is going to be how and why to sell CBD products. Before we jump into it, I will give you a little background on, well, not a background, but a little who's here from the attendees' perspective. Most of those that are here are owners, general managers, or presidents of companies, and I'd say about 80% of them have employee size between 1 and 20 that you checked off when you registered. We have people as far east as Massachusetts, where we're located, as far west as California, as far south as Florida, I guess. Didn't pick up any Hawaii or Puerto Ricos in this session. So I welcome you all very much to today. I will, if you have questions, so we can't hear you, but we can get questions. So if you see on the right side, there should be a little window there, and there's a little section called questions. If you click on that arrow, it'll open up a box, and if you want to type in some questions, we'll get to them as best we can during the session. And if not, we've kind of reserved 10 minutes or so at the end of the session to go through your questions. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to talk to you about what the agenda is first. We'll tell you about what the goals are. I'll give you an introduction of who else will be joining us today. And then really the whole goal is just talk about CBD oil. What is it? Why would you use it, or why somebody use it? What are the regulations around using and or selling it? I'll talk to you. Actually, I won't talk to you. I'll have Jack talk to you about On Duty USA, who has been providing Camphor with the CBD products. We'll help you understand why you'd want to sell it, and again, how to get started. So that's our agenda for today. Hopefully that covers everything. If it doesn't, ask a question. So the goal, so we started this webinar sessions with the goal of trying to educate you on how to grow your business, how to make it more successful. Lately, we've been putting some insights out on some products. Today, we're going to talk about a high-growth product and a very high-margin product that should help you with the growth of your business. So that's our goals for today. I want to introduce some people joining us today. First, I'd like to start with Jack Barr from On Duty USA. Jack, you there?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you say hi to the attendees here and tell us a little about yourself.
Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Hopefully, you'll get lots of valuable information and some product training. I spent the last 20 years as a retail store manager, owner, and buyer in some form or fashion. So I'm very familiar with kind of what everybody has to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and what can help make a product profitable and help drive more continuing sales through your business.
Awesome. The good-looking guy with very little hair, you can see on the picture here in his MP uniform, Scott McCurley. Scott, you there?
Yes, sir, but that was good-looking.
Was good-looking. Tell us about yourself, Scott.
Yes, sir. I'm a sales rep here with Camphor. Been here about 3 years. Before that, I was, as you can see, military police soldier with the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault. Combat veteran, did 15 months in Iraq, 12 months of duty in Korea. Had a pretty good, fun military career, and now transitioned over into the guns and ammo sales. And the opportunity presented itself for CBD. Familiarized myself with it through my friends in the military, and now here we are in an educational webinar.
Thanks, Scott. This is Chris. I decided not to put a picture up there because I didn't want Scott to feel bad. But I'm the president of Camphor. Been here since September, almost a year now. Before that, I ran a consulting business, consulting to the industry in the shooting sports industry. But going way back, my first job out of school was working for Ruger up in New Hampshire. I've been shooting ever since, so it's been great. The other thing I do want to talk about, Jack's going to talk about On Duty today. And one of the reasons why we decided to partner with On Duty is the focus on first responders. And probably hear from Amy a couple times, but if it wasn't probably for that On Duty branding, this may not be as great for us and probably not great for you. But you'll hear, I think that's a big piece as to why this could be helpful to you. So before we jump right into the details of it, we've got a poll. So thought we'd learn a little about those here attending. And so I had a question for you. And the question is this. You'll see a poll coming up. And the question is, are you currently using or selling CBD oil? And what I'd like you to do is just click on one of those radio buttons. Yes, I use it, or I sell it. Or no, I'm not sure if my customers will buy it. No, I might question the legality of CBD oil, so that's a no there. No, I just don't think I want to sell CBD oil. So there's a 1 yes, and there's 4 options for a no. If you just click on one of those, give us a sense of the audience here. You also get a little sense yourself as to who's listening in and what's their reasoning to listen to this webinar. So I'm going to give it probably another 10 or 15 seconds. Looks like we got 65% voting already. So this will be helpful, I think, for all of us as we jump into the webinar. So let me do this, because what I'll do is I'm going to close this and I'll show it. Everybody can see the answers. I can see them compiling here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this and share it with you. And what you're going to see, here we go. You should be seeing now that 29% said, yeah, I use it and or sell it. But 60%, almost 60% say, no, I'm not sure my customers will buy it. And that's great. Interesting. No one hit upon the legality of it. Nobody said, no, I just don't think I want to sell it. So it sounds like the question we've got today, Scott and Jack, is they're not sure if their customers will buy it. So let's keep that in mind today as we go through the agenda. So we should be looking at my screen. Perfect. So we're going to jump right into what is CBD oil and why use it. Jack, I'm turning this over to you.
All right. Thank you, Chris. CBD, first and foremost, is not marijuana. CBD comes from the hemp plant, not the marijuana plant. And CBD is short for cannabidiol. It is a natural occurring bioactive cannabinoid in the cannabis sativa plant. And it's been studied for lots of therapeutic benefits, such as helping to aid in sleep, relieving anxiousness, as well as reducing pain and inflammation. It is not psychoactive, again, it won't get you high. There's very, 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 very little THC in this, so that's something that you don't have to worry about. And then in the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018, the DEA and ATF made CBD legal in all 50 states. So as far as uses, like what can you use this for? There's topical and there's ingestible. The topicals, it hurts here, I'm going to put it here. So muscle soreness, back and body aches, joint pain relief, and inflammation relief. When you ingest the CBD, that will give you more global benefits. So think like full body benefits. You get significantly improved sleep. It helps support mood and relaxation, and then relief from anxiousness and operational exhaustion. That operational exhaustion is, it may sound a little confusing, but that's kind of the ability or the inability to focus on a task for an extended period of time. Right now, I'm chewing a piece of gum, and it's one of the ways that I'm able to kind of get through these things pretty well.
So I'll just throw this out there. If I look at this, Jack, right? I mean, kind of being facetious, I guess, or joking, because I don't have any soreness. I have no problem sleeping. I have no mood relaxation needs. And I am joking because I have all of that, and some body aches, and some joint relief.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just going to kind of point out, when we talk about any product sale, when you sell something, it's for a need. My assumption is that those dealers, people listening today, either they have this or I'd assume that their customer base has it, right? So,
Right.
and I would
So
just
like,
put that out there as a first. What's the need? Now we'll maybe talk then about what the product is and how it works. But we all have this, right? And it's not like we're living in a world where there's no stress of anything going on in our environment these days, right?
well, so you're correct. So CBD interacts with our body's endocannabinoid system, and that system kind of rules our response to stress, and it helps us naturally work through those things. And there's a whole list of individuals out there: law enforcement, first responders, shooting enthusiasts, military veterans, your local heroes. Any of those people can seriously reap the benefits of this, and help them get off of some heavier medication. Me personally, like you just said, I'm not a very achy person, but I have pretty serious anxiety, and this has helped me get off of medications that I've been free from for almost a year now. From a recovery standpoint, after long hike, or if I've been shooting clays or dove hunting, shoulder hurts after putting lots of rounds through, it's fantastic to help limit the inflammation and the pain that can occur from all of those. And as far as the users that are pictured there currently, there wasn't really anything for them out there, and that's kind of why we are who we are. And if you want to go to the next slide, one of our largest brand ambassadors, Lieutenant Brian Murphy, was the first responder for the Wisconsin Sikh Temple massacre. He was shot 15 times, twice in the head. And he's a true American hero, and one of our greatest advocates. He has numerous awards, the Purple Heart, the Congressional Badge of Bravery, and this enabled him to get off of lots of heavy medication. He takes CBD at night. No longer has night terrors. He still has aches and pains, as anybody would, being shot 15 times. But he is a fantastic testament to what CBD can do. Our founder and CEO, Greg Keeley, has served multiple tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, and over in the Pacific. He came back and was on a litany of drugs and medications from the VA. And his wife, being a nurse, urged him to try to get off of it. And CBD, after the course of about 4 or 5 months, allowed him to be clear of all of those medications, and allowed him to kind of start to feel normal again. If you can feel normal after being in multiple tours of combat. And it's his drive to try and get good quality American-made CBD that is one of the reasons that we are here as well.
Now, you didn't list it earlier, but you'll see it on the product side. But dogs, you also have a product for dog, and even though I take my dog hunting and he hears banging quite often, he is afraid of thunder and lightning. And with some of the products, you'll see I've actually given you guys have a product for dogs, canines, and I've given it to him, and it's made a huge difference. So I don't get scratched on my leg and jumped all over when the lightning comes. So,
yeah, and we actually see a spike in our canine sales around the 4th of July and kind of the month leading up to it.
So Scott, you've been selling. Exactly. Oh, exactly. July 4th. I ordered the case level just in case. So, Scott, what are you seeing in the dealers that you're visiting, even before and after? Those that may not see or think that their customer base would be receptive to this or would want to use it. Have you seen some that were skeptical early on and have adopted, or what?
Yeah, most sales or most order fulfillments that I've completed were on the skeptical side. I think I've only had 1 or 2 dealers who were aware, knew what it was, what it did, and how to sell it. most of everything else was me working together with them in an educational basis. And usually, when that light bulb goes off, is when they get that unexpected customer to come in and buy a bottle. Sell them or just deliver the display, put the bottles in the different products of the on duty CBD. They look at it, they're trying to wrap their brains around how to sell it. Customer comes in and goes, "Oh man, I'm really glad you have it," and they get on this entire conversation of, "I never thought you were using CBD." So where I've been most experienced is trying to educate the customers or my customers in how to sell it, and then they'll get that one customer to walk in, blow their mind, never thought their buddy or their preacher or whoever was using CBD, and now it's off to the races, and we've already refilled the display 2 or 3 times now.
So it sounds like part of it might be, to those listening, to maybe just ask. I mean, again, ask your customers. I mean, we can get into the selling of it later, but do they have pains? Do they have aches? Hey, you want CBD oil? Because I think, as I've been listening to Scott here selling it at Camphor and Hill Country, and also Jack, that seems to be. And in fact, look at the survey. Most people aren't sure the customer is going to want it. So something I think that they could ask their customer coming in. We can get to that a little later. Let's talk about, because the next piece of it, I'm sure the question is going to be, is the legality of this. So, Jack, tell us about the legality of this.
Yep. So CBD is not a Schedule 1 controlled substance in the eyes of the DEA and ATF. They have clearly stated that CBD is federally legal in all 50 states. An important thing for all of the gun dealers, that selling CBD will not affect your FFL. Your buyers can legally answer no to question 21E on the 4473 that states, are you an unlawful user or addicted to marijuana, so on and so forth. This is something that you all don't have to worry about. The end user is perfectly fine. It is legal. We can ship it into all 50 states. We can, sell it out of our door. We have it in retail locations. Heck, Chris, you all have it, if it was legal or if there are ramifications, there's no way we could have it into a distributor.
Right. So, and I don't get too into the details of this, but I think you hit this on there. It's not the marijuana plant, it's the hemp plant, and that's the big difference. Is that correct?
Yep. Correct. Yeah. The 2018 Agricultural Improvement Act, and that's why I keep going back to this, is that this is what classifies hemp from marijuana. Any plant containing 0.3% THC or less is not marijuana. It is hemp. And CBD comes from the hemp plant. That is crucial to know there. You can't get in any trouble. And there have been numerous things out there, but just recently, July 20th, the House passed an amendment to the NDAA that would allow active military and personnel to use CBD and other products derived from hemp. So that's huge in the government's acceptance of CBD into normal everyday use. It's not, necessarily signed into bill yet, but the fact that they're talking about it, it had bipartisan support on both aisles, which this day and age is very rare. It goes to show that they will be moving forward with it.
Jack, if I could add a little bit right there.
Go for it.
There's obviously a picture of the 4473. So we're implying here that this is not marijuana. You stated it directly, and maybe I could just layman's term explain the difference between hemp and marijuana and why this is not a controlled substance. And I usually use an analogy, right? It is illegal to own a Bengal tiger in most places. You can't just be walking around with a Bengal tiger, or you can't have a Bengal tiger in your house. But you can have a house cat, right? A Persian cat, a Siamese cat, right? There's a lot of cats that are legal to own. They're both felines. They're both part of that world of cats, but they are very, very different things. And we need to highlight that this is not a marijuana plant. This is not a sativa cannabis plant. This is This is a hemp plant, which is part of the cannabis family. No denying that. But again, like that Bengal tiger versus a house cat, they are very, very, very different things. So as we go further into explaining this, just keep in mind, might be the same family, not the same thing.
And I think we're going to talk a little about the THC piece of that later. But I do. There's a couple questions maybe, Jack. You can ask. You can ask. I can ask. You can answer. One of them here is, how does CBD oil affect drug testing?
It is highly, highly unlikely. On Duty USA's CBD products would cause you to fail a drug test. Because of all the federal regulations around CBD products, they have to contain 0.3% THC or less. And all of our products are well below that limit. At this trace limit, you would have to literally drink bottles of it to trigger a test. And I don't even think, you could drink bottles of it. It'd probably make your stomach hurt so bad. If you drink like that volume of it. With that said, the target market includes active law enforcement, first responders, and others that are subject to strict drug testing guidelines. Just to offer peace of mind, so that those don't have to worry about it at all. We do have a zero line of products with 100% of the THC removed. And then we do rigorous testing in our lab, which I'll get into here in a little bit, as well as third-party testing to verify our own findings.
So, in terms of mistakes of a larger amount of THC, than the legal minimum, you've got a THC-free product. Again, we'll get into a little later. So that's clear. There's also some with the below 0.3%. So if somebody's really concerned about it, they would get the THC-free, pure, and then there's no mistake that could be made. Is that correct?
Yeah, right. Yeah, with the zero oils, and then the gum and the coffee, they're all made with an isolate. So I mean, it is 100% pure CBD with nothing else in it.
Okay, great. Trying to reply to someone asking that question. I'll figure that out later. So it's legal. You will get some products to deal with the 0.3% THC piece of it. Let's now talk about on duty. So why on duty? Again, I mentioned earlier at the beginning, I'm actually familiar with on duty going back a few years. I knew some of the people working there earlier on, told me about it. And I was really, and again, personally not very familiar with CBD oil. I don't have any aches and pains, at least that's what I think. Therefore, didn't use many products like this. But as I learned more about the mission of On Duty, the fact that the branding is On Duty, it's not just a generic CBD oil. It's literally focused on first responders, which again is a big piece of our customer base. I thought it made a lot of sense to look at it, and the more I looked at it, the more it made sense for Camphor and Hill Country to carry it. And you'll see a little later as what that's done for some of our dealers. So Jack, why don't you give us a little overview of On Duty?
Yep. So we kind of came to market. There's some problems in the industry. It's unregulated. There's a lack of scientific oversight, lack of education, which hopefully we're going to correct some of that today. Consumers really want a trusted brand, but there's no brand diversity out there, and a lot of them, lack stories. We've been to, multiple trade shows. One of them, outdoor retailer, just to kind of, test that market to see what it was about, and we were like rainbow sherbet in a sea of vanilla. There were so many other brands out there that you could exchange everything, and half of them came from the same place. And different products with just different labeling, and we want to make sure that we have the best quality American made veteran farmed CBD available.
And you've done that, is that right?
Yep. So the solution, our team is composed of PhD chemists, PhD plant physiologists, doctors, research biologists. people who already had years of experience in CBD research and hemp research. And they came together, and we founded On Duty. And On Duty is a veteran-owned, veteran-farmed CBD manufacturing company. We're based in Lexington, Kentucky. Our mission is to get the highest quality American-made CBD into the hands of military veterans, law enforcement, first responders, and other people of the community who serve that can greatly benefit from CBD, but have never really had a brand for them or had brand exposure. We manufacture our products like the members of our team serve their country with honor and integrity. We're fully vertically integrated to ensure we have oversight over every step of the process. We help to assist the farmers get the plants in the ground. We help them harvest at the end of the season, help them strip the plants, extract them, test purity, bottle, box, label, ship. We do everything. And it's important in the industry because we talked about, no oversight. Because so many other brands are buying, bulk CBD products and just slapping their label on them with not much concern for quality or purity. That's not us. We do provide a QR code on every box, which takes you to a third-party testing report. And then, annually we grow about 160 acres of Kentucky hemp with our veteran farmers. American-made products, again, made in our lab at the University of Kentucky's campus, certified, good manufacturer process production ready facility. And then we again use veteran farmers to plant our crops and to grow our crops through the season because we want to help support them in every manner possible.
Now, being that you're in the bourbon capital of the United States also, have you thought about some combination there? I'm not sure if that's going down the right path or not, but that would be a nice little combo.
I cannot comment on that at this moment. But the short answer is yes. We have relationships with a couple of different distilleries, and there may or may not be some stuff aging in bourbon barrels right
now. I like it.
So, like we stated, there's tons of other CBD brands out there, but nobody really trying to capture first responders, military veterans, things of that nature, kind of the community that needs it most. So we built a brand within the CBD industry to offer a compelling and powerful story. We're in a lot of retail locations, 400 plus, because of, being in distribution channels. I don't know exactly how many, but we want to help your local heroes, because, military veterans, first responders, everybody can benefit greatly from the benefits of CBD. Firearms, sporting goods, outdoor, and retail, retailers with history of supporting veteran-owned and operated brands. That's our target demographic and our target customer. And then we have extremely robust product support. You can, any questions, call us, send me an email, call me on the phone. Likewise with you all there at CAMFOR, always there, willing and ready to help answer any questions that there may be.
So there's a question here. I think some of it's been answered. What stores? I think you said it was 400 that you know of. Again, because you're going through distribution, you don't see the whole list there. How is the brand trying to gain an edge over other brands? What are you focusing on to differentiate On Duty?
Purity and testing, and using our experience in the firearms industry to again, advertise directly towards that customer. We're never going to be that brand that you're going to see in Dick's Sporting Goods along with all the different creams and ointments. That's never going to be us. Our target market is to help first responders, to help military veterans, to help law enforcement. Whoever it may be. That's kind of our core mission, and that's something that's really never going to change for us. The brand was made for retail, and to be retail facing and to support retail.
Chris, maybe I could add on a little bit to that
Yep.
as well on what differentiates On Duty from everyone else. Um, Jack, I believe your stuff is pesticide and herbicide free.
Yep, we are 100% organic.
So that is huge in the CBD world. A lot of people see the CBD store signs, they see the CBD in gas stations, and half the time we don't know what's in those bottles. Okay, On Duty CBD is not that. The state laws in Kentucky, it requires them to be, I believe it requires them to be mostly organic, which means you're getting a higher quality product. Then when we go into, well, how is that CBD extracted from the hemp plant? Um, On Duty CBD has lab space at the University of Kentucky. They have doctors on staff doing this work and supervising it. Some of those other brands out there, they're using butane lighter fluid in somebody's garage. Again, On Duty is not that. This is a very controlled extraction. This is a highly processed manufacturing process. Just to relate it back to the gun world, most of those other CBD brands that Jack was talking about earlier that you see in the gas station, those are High Points, those are Tauruses, those are great, and they have an audience. But this is the Cadillac, right? This is the H&K. This is the Sig Sauer. This product is a step above the rest through process, through sales, through who it's designed to help. Totally different marketplace when we're discussing On Duty CBD.
Good point, Scott. Good point. Yep.
Yeah, and just to touch back real quickly to what you, Chris, said about bourbon. We make everything in small batches because it is easier to control and to get the extraction exactly where we want it every single time. Some other people use, CO2, which is fine, but they do it in mass and in bulk, and you're not going to get the same benefits of all the different plant terpenes and everything that are extracted the way we use it, and that's with organic ethyl alcohol.
Awesome. I thought it'd be good to give a little overview of On Duty. Why Camp Hill Country has partnered with them. There's the purity of it. There's the quality of it. There's definitely the focus on the shooting sports and the first responders. There are a lot of CBD products out there. This is the one that kind of resonated with us, and we're very happy with it. In fact, we'll show you some of our results with it real soon. But let's jump into the question of, well, why would you sell it? Okay, so we know what it's used for. Okay, to help aches and pains, sleeps, and stress like that. We know it's legal. Okay, and we know now On Duty USA is a certified organic trusted provider. So now we got all that. Now why sell it? I'll let Jack talk more, but we got a huge exploding market. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, and that is very right, Chris. The market is huge because the market is relatively new. Until December of 2018, we really couldn't sell it. And it's growing exponentially. And so the advantage right now is to become that trusted dealer for your customers' CBD needs. Because, this is a generalization, but I know Greg, our CEO, would never have walked into like a Robert's Health Food store to try to find CBD, but he was in a gun store every other day or going to a range. Being retired military, he still loves to shoot. He still loves firearms. He likes to hunt, and so he was constantly going into stores. So the growth potential is massive. As far as the way the market's trending right now, by 2023, it may be over, $24 billion. Because that's just an estimate currently. So
even though
dealers,
sorry, Jack.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
So I know we've hit upon the slide here talking about the market potential, and you did hit upon it, but I'll reemphasize our customers, those dealers that are listening today, their customers are great potential customers for this, if not current customers, because they have the aches and pains, they have the issues, and this is something that can help them. And that's why this market is exploding, right? So
Correct.
why does Camfor look at this and go, geez, why would Camfor sell this? Not because it's an exploding market, because it actually, our customer base is looking for this, and they may not even know about it. And I think that's why in the first survey we saw a lot of skepticism. Not sure a customer's gonna buy this. So hopefully this helps understand, first of all, why your customer would use it. It's a huge growing market. Okay, now let's just talk about, but sell it. Why do we sell it? And again, this is where I think we've been impressed with On Duty. They've built it for retail, and I'll let you continue, Jack, so I don't keep taking all your thunder.
Oh no, you're fine. You're totally fine. Yeah. So, like many things in the gun industry, it's extremely competitive. So the margins that you're going to gain, we have MSRP and MAP pricing policy. The margins are 40 plus points at MAP. We have locking countertop displays. It is non-seasonal, so again, you can become your customer's go-to place for CBD and give them a reason to return to the store, because it is a consumable item. A lot of the oils are take about a month to go through. So if you have your customer that's waiting for a certain season, if they are hunters as opposed to just general firearms enthusiasts, and you don't have to wait for deer season to come around anymore. They're going to be constantly coming in to your store, and they're going to be looking for or putting their eyes on other products that may be there as well. So it's a value add. The packaging is fantastic, and then as far as the products go, we have the gum. We have and these are all ingestibles. The gum is fantastic replacement for that midday cup of coffee. The pure oils, you have them in different concentrations. There's zero oils, which are going to be the THC free. Zero Dark 30 coffee. It's an instant coffee, and it actually tastes good. And then the pet oils, which we talked on earlier. But the instant coffee is fantastic. We're getting ready to get into deer season, ramping up for that. Somebody that's having to sit in a tree stand all day long and needing that extra bit of concentration. 20 milligrams of CBD, 60 milligrams of coffee or caffeine. I'm sorry. That'll definitely get you where you need to go.
And then when you've been sitting on the stand and holding that gun all day, or whatever the case may be.
Yep, and then you have your topicals for your recovery. Have the balm, the lotion, the cold roller, and the pinpoint roller. We have lots and lots of testimonials from accounts that have used the lotion, the balm, pinpoint roller. People are able to hold and grip a gun again. Going and putting a bunch of rounds through at the range. In a handgun, that can be really tiring on your wrist, on your fingers. So the balm, the lotion, pinpoint roller, cold roller, they're all fantastic for recovery. Cold roller is almost immediate relief, and then it kind of gets once the cold and the hot has worn away, it's given time for the CBD to work on the inflammation. Pinpoint roller is the most concentrated. And again, with the topicals, like I hurt here, I will put it here. Think of it that way. That's the cold roller, the pinpoint, and then the lotion and the balm are a little more broad application. So you can put that on your entire lower back. Put it, kind of all over the place. I use the lotion almost every single day when I get out, especially after I've gone for a long hike. It's fantastic about getting rid of inflammation in the legs.
I don't know if I told you, but when we got our first shipment and you were nice enough to send us some samples, and some of the people here were using it, especially those with, joint pain, and they were using a combination of the pinpoint roller and the cold roller. And the word got out that they were working really well. And the next thing you know, we were out of product because all the employees were taking it because they had the problems. Well, they weren't taking it, but they were buying it. But still, it's been great. That's the
problems to have.
hearing. It's true. And we had to go buy more, and that was good. In terms of why sell it, let's kind of a little recap. Is
Yep.
their customers, your customers listening are using this. It's high margins, small footprint. There's a lot of product options for you. The one thing we didn't mention here that I'll add is in the dealers part like this, it's not on allocation. There's actually kind of an endless supply of this, so you're not restricted to an allocated product, and that's something I know our sales team is excited about, and hopefully you are too. Let me share with you the experience we're having here at Cam4. Quick chart showing you our experience. We picked this up in April, and you can basically see our sales on a monthly basis from April through July. I think June we had Glock month or something like that, so I'm sure the sales team was focused on selling their Glocks. But we've had 220% increase in over 4 months. It's been a great product for us, product brand for us. About 70% of our sales teams have been making a sale on CBD, so they're really selling it to a broad audience. Average sales about $493, which is actually important because you'll see at $500 you're going to get some free stuff a little later. So Cam4 has been, I think, very happy with. I know I've been happy as a president of a brand we bring on and how well it sells. And after 3 or 4 months, you'll see the sell through, and we're seeing it. And we still have, I think, a lot more to sell. A lot more dealers, maybe like people listening here today, are questioning, geez, do I bring it on? What is it? Is it legal? And that's again the purpose for these webinars is to provide some education to you to see if there's something you wanna do. So, and the margin was good. Did I forget about the margin piece? So let's talk about getting started. So if you were going to do this, and Jack, by the way, thank you again for providing this insight on CBD oil in general and on duty. But let's talk about getting started. So there's kind of two pieces, if you will, to this to make it successful. So dealers listening, you got to buy it. You have the product in stock, but you got to educate your customer, almost like we're educating you on how to sell this. And I'm just going to highlight a couple areas and probably ask Scott to add to this. But you got to provide training. Just because you have it in stock, this isn't a Glock, Ruger, Smith and Wesson that your sales team probably knows, because they've been playing with it their whole life. So you got to provide some training. You got to help your internal team understand what it is, why to sell it, how to sell it. Let your customers know that you carry it. There was a question here earlier about how do you sell it. Open-ended questions. We can get into that. We're not going to get into the details of that, but you got to ask questions. And then listen to what they're looking for and decide what product might be the way to go. And then obviously you got the sale piece of it. Scott, I want to ask you, because you've been the one that's been doing a lot of work with our dealers. How have you helped? You hit upon it earlier, also the educational side. What would you add to this about how to help the dealers understand how to sell it?
Well, this is an experience product. If we're currently in a bad experience, we want to make it better, right? This is an experience sale for somebody that is new to CBD. What I have found is on Amazon, I think you can buy a pack of 800 disposable droppers for very little money, maybe $20. And what I've been doing is going to different retailers, setting up a little corner, and almost having a little Costco sampler corner in the store as their customers are coming through, making purchases and everything, wanting to truly explain what CBD is. And a lot of times there has such a connotation in anything cannabis related. You have to break down those walls, break down those barriers because of that front of, I'm not interested, sir. This is a cannabis related product. So simply having an open-ended conversation, asking those leading questions like you were explaining what CBD is, where it comes from, and doing it in a manner and in an educational manner for your customer, it really breaks down those walls of trying to explain what it is, how it helps, and samples have been so good for my customers as they move through their inventory, because as they're trying the product, you provide them with a 1 milliliter sample. The CBD starts to take effect. There's less anxiety as you get deeper into the conversation. They're looking at the inventory, they feel better. It just you have to provide that experience, because if we go back to who the core customer is, I don't know that law enforcement feels comfortable in going into a, for lack of better terms, smoke shop or head shop where this stuff is traditionally sold. I don't know that our customers feel comfortable talking to their peers about it for fear of misconceptions that are currently out there. So again, making a positive experience with a knowledgeable staff is what far and away separates the people who are selling CBD successfully and the people who are not.
Interesting. So education, you kind of mentioned that the big piece of that, and then a sample. And I know you've been great going out to stores and doing that. And I think that would probably be helpful for the dealers listening. I know there's a question here I'm seeing on how to use CBD, and how do you advise the customer. And I think I'm going to refer down to the listen and recommend. Topicals are for pinpoints, oils for sleep anxiety, and the gum, if you have a range, that's for people that might chew a lot. Coffee is great, for sitting a stand and focus. I actually take the coffee, ironically, at night. I found that to be better for me than some of the oils trying to get to sleep. It's ironic the coffee doesn't do much for me, but the CBD does. And again, this is not to be an educational session so that you can go as a dealer go do this tomorrow, but to give you a sense of how this would work, right? So let's we'll leave this here, and we can have more discussions on the training side. The thing that Camphor is going to do to make it easy for you, or I guess the next question is, okay, fine, now I got my customers. Where do I start? What do we do to get started? So Camphor, through the help of On Duty, created a starter kit, or a starter order, if you will. And it has this mix of the pinpoints and some of the lotions and oils that sell the most. And it's a $520 purchase. And if you do that, you're going to receive this free acrylic display. It's a locking display for your counter. That's free. And also On Duty is going to provide a case of gum. And then Camphor will actually give you a 2-month dating. So you can actually split $521 over 2 months to give you time to sell it, which is what we're trying to do, so you feel more comfortable with it and can then, be more successful with it. It's probably $1,000 retail value. You're going to spend about $500 for. So this would be kind of the starter kit that we'd suggest. Yeah, you can bring in some of the oils or gums or coffees, but we thought we'd try to give you something that would be very, very helpful for you to get started. Scott, Jack, you want to add anything on the starter kit?
No, I mean, that's, as far as a what to buy, I mean, you pretty much nailed all the products on the head. You get a nice, for the money spent, you get the broadest product selection, I think there. And then, as the customers kind of see fit, what we have found, a lot of dealers tend to be kind of scared of the price point of the 1,000 or the 1,500, and so they don't necessarily always put them on that opening order. But it's the customers coming back who are asking for the higher concentration.
Interesting. What about so if we now go through do a little recap, right? What is CBD oil and why use it? I think we've covered that. It's needed by I think all of our customers. Is it legal? I guess with the regulatory requirements, yes, it's legal. We've talked about why On Duty USA. In terms of selling it, you've got the margins. It's not allocated product. You can get it. Jack, and we've even talked about how to get started from an educational perspective. Jack, what kind of tools would you have, or training or education to peel this back to the next level? So let's say a dealer says, "Hey, this looks great. I want to buy some." What would you suggest maybe is the next thing that they do? I know your website has some good Q&As on there. Do you got some brochures? Is there other training? What would you suggest they do?
Well, I think kind of the overarching theme of this whole thing is education, right? And that is going to be the biggest piece in being successful moving forward. We do have brochures, and we can ship you some with countertop acrylic display holder. I'm more than happy to do webinars. I generally do, excuse me, a handful a week, but they're significantly more focused on the product itself. Because once the dealer has picked up the line, they've kind of, okay, well, it's legal, I can sell it. Well, now how do I sell it? And again, education is key. So, give me a ring, shoot me an email. I'm more than happy to support any new dealer in any way possible. That's easy. That's why I have a job.
That's good to keep that job.
Yeah, no.
So we're getting some questions more coming in. So we're going to jump to kind of the Q&A side of this. I'm going to leave this up here for people to reach out to Jack if you need more information, us if you want to place an order, if not our sales reps. But I'm going to go to some of the questions. Someone talked about seeing coffee on the starter kit. That wasn't part of the starter kit by design. I think, Jack, it wasn't necessarily a top seller, but you were including that as a little gift for anybody that attended today. I think if I was correct. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. Anybody who was patient enough to sit through today will get a free pack of coffee, so that you can actually try the product. And it's a box of 6. So the idea is that you share it with your employees, see what they think, because some of our most successful dealers usually have somebody on the sales staff, owner, manager, buyer, salesperson, whoever it may be, that actually uses the product, so that they can truly, give truly attest to, how well it works.
Another question is, are all these products natural flavors or scents?
They are all very natural. We don't really believe in putting anything in there that shouldn't be in there to help make it work. There's other brands out there that have peach and mango and cherry and all sorts of other stuff. Because of the scientific and medical background that we have, it doesn't need to be in there to make it work. We're not going to put it in there. That's just kind of the way it is. So it does have a natural flavor, if you will. The zero oils do taste like nothing. But the pure oils have a kind of a golden amber color, and there is a taste to it.
Okay. Do you have another question here is samples? If there's, do you have samples? What the cost would be? Some of those samples that you could then, so that the dealers could then, maybe give samples to their customer.
We do have, I don't know how many we have left. We had a ton of lotion packets made for trade shows. And I can definitely get some of those sent out to any dealer that was interested. The oils, I don't have samples, but the lotions I do. And I actually had a lot of success at trade shows passing out samples on day 1. And then day 2, dealer would come back, ask for some more samples because their ankles, their feet, their knees, their hips felt so much better the next day after being on the trade show floor all day. Then they end up placing an order as well.
I was going to say, you should be selling them lotion bottles at that point, not the samples anymore, right?
Right.
But I mean, I kind of half joke, but we've seen that here where once people try it, again, you try it, you'll buy it. Once they try it, especially some of the lotions, I use the word hooked, but it's so provides so much relief. They're buying it. They're buying a lot. I mean, we've got again a lot of customers here at Cam4 that just wasn't aware of it. We told them about it, for education in here internally, and they tried. I think you gave us some of the little mini lotion samples, and next thing you know, people come back the next day and they're buying a whole bottle. So, so let me look here. Okay, I got a couple more questions. What's the best-selling product you carry? The number one selling product in the line.
Is this for me or for you?
That's for Jack. Sorry, Jack, that's for you. Yeah.
45% of our annual sales is of one SKU, and that's of the 1,500 milligram pure, the most concentrated pure oil.
Okay. We've got a bunch of more questions, but I want to make sure we end on time. So I want to conduct one more poll. We've gone through the agenda today, talking about, what it is, why use it, well, the regulations, why sell it. My question now, and early on, we had a poll at the beginning that asked, how often do you either use it or not, and the real reason why there was a no there of why you don't is you were skeptical about what your customers would buy it or not. So I'm going to ask you now kind of a similar question. How likely would you add CBD oil sales, to your gun store? And so you have some degrees here. So again, click on the radio button to vote. Yep, I'm convinced, I need it, let's go, we're all set, ready to go. Or, maybe it's a yes, I still have a few more questions. Maybe I'm not ready yet, I still question legality, which is a third one down. Not ready yet, I question whether my customers will buy it. So that question's still out there. So if you're not convinced, they will answer that. And no, I'm not convinced this will ever sell. So if you could click on that, we can see together, what happened in the last, 50 minutes between the beginning of, some people skeptical about it versus now, what are you thinking? So I see a little over half voting. And I like these polls, not only for us, but I think it's, again, mostly for you, the listener, to see, geez, what's going on here? What's happened? So let's do that in about 10 seconds. So I'm going to close this up, and then we're going to wrap up the whole session. And interesting results. Okay, so, good. We see 78% voted. All right, close enough. So I'm going to close the poll and share it with you. So how's this for results? 53% yes, I'm convinced is needed. I'm going to do it. That's great. And then 37% most likely, but still have a few questions. That's actually great to hear, and I'm happy for this because, again, we've learned. I've been learning myself. This is education. There's a lot about education with this product, and it seems like many of you have heard, listened, maybe overcome some of the concerns or just lack of knowledge of what this product is and why to sell it. So that's great. I'm very happy for everybody. If you have more questions, so, we're going to wrap up here. First, Jack, thank you very, very much for joining us today. Scott, thanks again for helping out. I don't know if, and Jack, just so we're clear, you cannot steal Scott. He sounds very passionate about this. You cannot steal Scott from us.
No, I love Scott. I would if I could.
But for those that still have questions, you can reach Jack. That's his email, jack@ondutiusa.com. You can go to the website. There's a lot of Q&A on the On Duty website. If you have, your sales rep here at Cam4 and Hill Country, reach out to that sales rep. They could probably answer some more questions for you. We've got a general email at sales@cam4.com, and it's online, so you can go on and order it. It does still hit some of our minimum requirements for shipping, but bundle it with some of the product, or tell some of your reps that you got a whole bunch of CBD, give you some guns, and we ship it all together for your charge. So I want to wrap this up. Again, Chris DeCenzo, the president, Cam4 Hill Country. I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. Did I hide the poll? There we go. I want to thank you all very much. Nope, it's not hidden yet. Sorry. So I'm trying to get back to the polls. I thought I had that hidden. You're not. I'm trying to see the. You're not seeing the sales. But I was just trying to get you the emails. Give us a call. Give us a ring. Hopefully, we can help answer some more questions. And again, it's not an allocated product. There should be plenty here on stock to send it to you. So I hope you all have a great week. Be safe, and look forward to the next webinar invite on some education. Bye bye.